Hello there and welcome to Eye on Port. It is a program designed to bring the activities of ports in Ghana and across the globe closer to you and also you closer to the port industry. Now the program is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Community Network Services, Ghana Oil Company Limited and West Blue Consulting. Media partner is the Business and Financial Times. And folks, this week we're going to concentrate on a very sensitive subject. It is sensitive because it is about fees and charges that are being taken out of the port area, and also it is about revenue generation on the part of government from the port industry. Now it appears that government thinks that it is not getting the expected revenue that it requires from the port industry. However, importers are also crying that there's a lot of money being paid at the port and that the cost of doing business at the port is growing too high and high. So what's the missing link? Is it that the importers are paying some monies that are not going to government, or government is collecting all the money and they just feel that it's not enough? All of that we're going to interrogate. We'll take a look at a particular fee and charge and we'll deal with it. We'll seek the views of all the pundits within the industry on that particular fee and charge. We will talk about that pretty shortly. In the meantime, folks, we're in the month of February, and I have been told that the month of February, when you are in it, there's a lot of love in the air. So the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority decided to show a lot of love in this month of February. The Senior Staff Union decided to spend the Valentine's Day with an orphanage in the central region, donating items to them and also enjoying themselves together. Also, the Port Authority donated some items to a senior high school all the way in Tamale.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has come to the aid of the Tamale Senior High School by alleviating the acute water shortage problem that has bedeviled the school for a long time. GPHA and its local partner, Community Legacy Initiative Project CLIP, determined to solve the problem, donated water storage facilities and waste bins to the school to improve students' access to water, sanitation and hygiene. The duo also laid pipes from the Tamale Township down to the school for water to be stored into the jumbo tanks for constant supply.
They asked for water project. I came in today and I saw green bins as well. This means the funds we gave them have been used very resourcefully.
Headmistress of Tamale SHS, Margaret Brander, was full of praise for GPHA and its Director General for coming to their aid and assured that the gesture will spur them on to achieve better educational laurels.
I am humbled by this life that the Ghana Harbours and Ports Authority, through the Community Legacy Initiative Program, has offered us this moment. This intervention will not only enhance effective teaching and learning, it will also as well nourish our bodies, as clean water will be available for us all the time.
Meanwhile, the Senior Staff Union of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has donated a variety of items including educational materials, clothing, toiletries and food to the Becky's Foundation, an orphanage in Senyabreku area in the central region. The union collaborated with Global Street Foundation, who aided in identifying the right place to carry out the donation. Global Street Foundation is an organization dedicated to curb streetism and empower underprivileged children to reach their potential. The Senior Staff Union Chairman of GPHA, John Asef, expressed that the GPHA Union chose the 14th of February, which is the Valentine's Day, to share love with underprivileged children.
The best thing you can give into this life is to share or demonstrate true love. So we are here to actually share with our little brothers and sisters here what everybody is doing on this day called Val's Day, the show of love.
Seth Asiedu, the director of Becky's Foundation, expressed gratitude to the management of GPHA for their charitable cause and expressed assurance of a lasting relationship with them.
The leaders and entire members or the team from Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, we say that you have come to a home of comfort and our doors are widely open. You're always welcome. With you, we know that the future of these kids are bright. and we'll make sure that we put our forces together to make sure that we give them a brighter future.
Aside the donations, the entourage from GPHA toured the facility and interacted extensively with the children.
So the Ports and Harbours Authority showing love in the month of February, and Ghana Oil Company Limited is also showing love in this month of February. Take a listen.
The leading oil marketing company in Ghana, GOIL, has appreciated its valued customers on Valentine's Day with a presentation of locally made chocolate to customers at all its over 360 service stations countrywide. The day was also used to popularize the patronage of Made in Ghana chocolate. GOIL's public relations manager, Robert Trey, used the occasion to commend customers for their love and support to the GOIL brand. He insisted that GOIL's bond of friendship is reflected in its service, quality and reliability of products.
Our love for them is strong. The bond between GOIL and our customers is very strong, to the extent that we want to also tell them that our relationship with them is not only transactional, and that it goes beyond buy and selling. So we have christened this day My Customer, My Love, in appreciation for all the things they do for us in terms of patronizing our.
He appealed to customers to keep alive the love for GOIL products by patronizing the company's products and services. Items such as pieces of cloth and other gifts were also distributed to patrons.
Let's move away from showing love in the month of February and talking about the industry itself. The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority in this month passed out about 300 NABCO recruits who are supposed to assist the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. I'm interested in this particular story before my main story because the target set by Customs is contained in this story: 17 billion Ghana cedis.
The Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Isaac Crensel, has expressed optimism that the division will achieve its revenue target of 17 billion Ghana cedis for the state in this year 2019. The Commissioner of Customs, who was speaking during the passing out ceremony of 300 NABCO interns attached to the Tema collection of Customs, added that of the total figure, 75% is expected to be achieved by the Tema collection of Customs.
Custom work is very difficult. Not difficult that you cannot do, but difficult that the general public is watching you. And therefore, you must show discipline in whatever activity that you find yourself in it. You don't want a situation that NABCO people are doing this or that. You will defeat the purpose of why you brought in NABCO.
Isaac Crensel in his speech mentioned that these new recruits are going to be instrumental in helping tackle all identified revenue leakages in the aim of reaching revenue collection targets.
You are joining us to fill the gap of our staff or human resources, and therefore you are very, very important in our work. See yourself as part of the Customs Division to achieve our objective and the revenue target before us, almost about 17 billion Ghana cedis. Everybody will be given a small portion of that target so that at the end of every month, your performance will be measured. You are not putting on the uniform just because you are a NABCO intern, but you are putting on a uniform to ensure that Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority collect their maximum revenue so that this country can develop.
He encouraged the NABCO interns to work diligently and professionally while serving the nation. The 300 personnel of the Nation Builders Corps underwent 2 weeks intensive training before the ceremony that officially recruited them.
So Customs says they are supposed to rake in 17 billion Ghana cedis in this year 2019. Where is that money going to come from? Is it going to come from the importers, and how will they take it? The last week when we spoke to the Commissioner of Customs, he lamented bitterly that last year a lot of imports did not come in because importers are beginning to get tired of paying so much on import goods. So if customs is supposed to make 17 billion, are they going to task more to make this money, or where are they going to make the monies from? We, Iron Pod, we have begun researching, and we have realized that there are some monies that are being paid by importers, and those monies, folks, are not going to the state, and they are not going to any state agency. Meanwhile, look behind me, cranes upon cranes, you know, this wharf here, entire sea being reclaimed and all of that being done by the Ports and Harbours Authority, yet they do not even get some monies compared to some monies that are going to individual pockets. There is a particular fee and charge called miscellaneous. A lot of people don't know what it is about, who is charging that, who collects that miscellaneous. And that amount of money on the import bill that's given to every importer is often higher than the charges that are charged by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, for instance, or sometimes closer to amounts charged by GCNet and all of the others. Who is monitoring this, and why should this miscellaneous still be charged after paperless? Because we are told that the miscellaneous is supposed to be used for photocopies and also bribing officers. How do you make photocopies when you are not having paper transactions or you're having a paperless? How do you bribe people when paperless is supposed to make officers faceless? Who is collecting miscellaneous?
On September 1st, 2017, the port community commenced the paperless port clearance processes upon a directive by the Vice President. The system was to facilitate trade and reduce the cost of doing business at the ports. Over a year after the strict compliance of the policy by the port community, many stakeholders have praised the initiative as lead agencies like Customs and GPHA profess to individually have systems that are over 95% paperless. As a result of these new ways of doing business at Ghana's ports, pundits are now questioning the existence of a fee on the bills issued to importers by freight forwarders or clearing agents called miscellaneous. The clearing agents describe the miscellaneous as monies meant to bribe officers to facilitate clearance of goods and making photocopies.
As a businessman, the options are that if you allow the 5 containers to sleep overnight, you're going to pay about rent of about maybe 3,000 cedis, and you pay demurrage. If it's on almost on demurrage, $100 per container per day, you have to pay that. Now, if you have to give the customs officer 200 Ghana cedis for him to go back and put on his computer and do the work for you, well, I think that as a businessman, I will do that and inform my client.
But stakeholders now say that there is no justification for the miscellaneous fee being charged importers.
It's something we are fighting. We are all fighting.
What?
The miscellaneous issue. All of it should be a national conversation.
It is explained that with the commencement of the paperless system and the removal of the compliance office from the Temalong room to the customs head office, the excuse of using miscellaneous for printing, photocopies and sorting out of custom officers is irrelevant.
Since we introduced paperless, I'm even surprised that
miscellaneous is
still there. Because there's no paperwork for you to do photocopy and then the essence of even moving the compliance to Accra was to do this human interaction. The people let them introduce. So I don't know what the word is, but it's an old thing. When you are changing, it becomes yes.
Some affected importers have called for miscellaneous to be scrapped.
The government and the people of Ghana want to reduce the corruption in our port, and so miscellaneous is also one way or the form of corruption.
Miscellaneous is not relevant and it's not necessary anymore.
According to Iron Pod research, miscellaneous sometimes seem to be one of the highest fee on import bills submitted to importers. Here is a typical invoice which had government duty to be 4,000 Ghana cedis, something called cancellation fees to faceless individuals to be 2,000 Ghana cedis, another 2,000 Ghana cedis for something called new invoice value to faceless individuals, all amounting to 8,000 Ghana cedis, and then miscellaneous charge of 2,000 Ghana cedis again for photocopies and bribing a faceless individual. Then there is a shipping line charge of 2,632 Ghana cedis, demurrage charge of 535 Ghana cedis, GCNet charge of 200 Ghana cedis, and clearing agent's charge of 600 Ghana cedis. The total amount submitted to the importer was 13,967 Ghana cedis, out of which only 4,000 Ghana cedis was going to customs as duty for government. Recently, USAID reports and fees and charges revealed that about 20% of the import duties paid by importers and exporters were attributed to exorbitant, unwarranted, and unjustified charges at the ports.
I think there must be some co-regulation in that regard. Co-regulation meaning those who handle imports, together the government must come to some appreciable understanding that these things end up adding to the cost of doing business, and it doesn't bode well for any of us. So it's very useful to streamline, maybe put a percentage on it, maybe 0.003%, and that could be standardized and everybody could understand. But where you have a situation where the figures are so wide in difference, I think it's not the right thing to do.
Again, at a recently organized program by Imani Ghana, the president of the Customs House Agents of Ghana, Achag Yauche, was emphatic that the miscellaneous is used to show appreciation to custom officers and some other officers of the various agencies to facilitate clearance of goods.
Whether we like it or not, the nature of our work is such that at times you need to, what the churches will tell you, appreciation, you appreciate some of the work that the custom officers do. Now, yes, I'm being very frank. These officers at times, they work throughout. They are supposed to go for break 12 o'clock maybe to 2 o'clock or 1:30. Now, if they want to go strictly according to the break time, nothing will move on at the port there. My understanding is that they are not giving overtime. Okay. So at times, we just tip them here and there. Not anything illegal, but then a way of appreciating whatever they are doing. And it's not only the custom officers, almost virtually all the agencies at the port there, and it's been a tradition at the port there.
But the Chief Revenue Officer of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Bismarck Kisi, sharply responded that such payment is needless.
In Customs, if you are working and you believe your work will go the extra mile, what we do is that you can put in an application to the sector commander, and a provision will be made towards that. We rather shouldn't try as much as possible to, push officers to go beyond a certain point and then give them something. That one shouldn't be accepted.
The president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Kwabena Ofosuapia, explained that the trader could negotiate the miscellaneous fees.
We wouldn't want to believe that the trader is so vulnerable or so powerless as not to be able to bargain or negotiate whatever extra figures that appears on their invoice as miscellaneous.
A view that a former president of Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders and now Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry had earlier shared.
The miscellaneous thing you're talking about it's always been a negotiation between the freight forwarder and the customer, which is the importer.
Has it? They always come with a bill and it's already on it, and you can't negotiate.
Yeah, exactly, but that's what I'm talking about. That if you are an importer and you will not negotiate for the cost of clearing your goods from the port, and you only give it to somebody only to be given a certain bill with the miscellaneous, all sort of things on it, then you did not do a good job.
But this assertion has been fiercely challenged.
There shouldn't be the need for miscellaneous, because then the system is going to eliminate the certain points of human intervention, such that you will not have a reason to pay money to anyone.
So now that this system is coming to do away with the old system, there will be no human interface, all these things will go to rest, so that nobody will bring you any unnecessary bill.
Isaac Krentel admits that if Ghana is serious in facilitating trade, reducing cost of doing business, and fighting corruption, then miscellaneous definitely shouldn't be entertained anymore.
Because with the international people, the whole idea was what broke the interaction between, or the interview between customs and then the public. where they will have facilitate this miscellaneous payment.
A former monitoring manager of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Niniko Amasa, equally demonstrated to Iron Port with a particular invoice that whilst all institutions charge about 1,100 Ghana cedis for services which include the use of equipment, utility and heavy human resource, some clearing agents charged as high as 4,500 Ghana cedis for what they claim to be for photocopies, transportation or illegal settlement of faceless officers.
The miscellaneous charges are also charged by the clearing agent.
For what?
It will be difficult for me to know exactly why those charges would come about.
Niniko Amasa believes miscellaneous is illegal in the face of paperless port clearance. He advised that if government means business to reduce the cost of doing business in the port, the miscellaneous fee should be immediately abolished and permanently prohibited.
With the electronic clearance system, there might be no need for the miscellaneous charges.
The Commissioner of Customs, Isaac Crintle, agrees with him and warned his officers not to accept illegal payments from importers. Commissioner of Customs Isaac Crintle has therefore promised to meet the leadership of the freight forwarder associations together with his management to halt the collection of miscellaneous as soon as possible.
We'll meet my management and then issue a statement about the miscellaneous. But we will call the freight forwarders very soon. Maybe by witness we will call them for a meeting and then we issue a statement on that.
Iron Port will follow events on the collection of this fee closely and update patrons and port users.
So for us at Iron Port to continue to shine the lenses on this particular miscellaneous plus many more fees and charges that we will be targeting going into the future, because we need to help the state make the monies they need to develop the state and also help the importers reduce their cost. If we want to encourage a lot more people to import through our country, let the cost of doing business at the ports be reasonable. Iron Port returns after the break.
Hello? Good morning, this is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less. Bye.
To get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how?
Hey. Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here in a simpler, faster and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth is in our hands.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Welcome back. News around the port industry next.
In recent years, studies have shown that gas emitted from shipping-related activities are on a steady increase globally, and developing countries lack the capacity to develop energy-efficient mechanisms to improve on gas emissions in the shipping industry. It is in this vein that the International Maritime Organization, the UN body responsible for regulating shipping and maritime activities, in 2013 adopted a resolution on the promotion of technical cooperation and transfer of technology aimed at improving the energy of ships. The resolution made it possible to provide technical assistance to developing countries in areas of capacity building. Recently in Accra, the Maritime Technology Cooperation Center for Africa region, a body created for institutional collaboration among countries in Africa in association with the Ghana Maritime Authority, has organized a workshop which was aimed at creating awareness and equipping participants in mitigating the harmful threats of climate change. The project director for MTCC-AFRICA said the IMO has acknowledged the need to mitigate maritime threats to climate by helping developing states.
And one of the projects that the international community has come up with, led by International Maritime Organization, a UN body charged with safety and maritime environment protection, just taken a bold decision to have a global MTTs network in order to address some of these challenges that are facing more specifically the small island states, the least developing countries, through technical cooperation and technology transfer.
The Director General of GMA, Kwame Wusu, urged the participants to bring the global objective of cutting down fuel emissions, particularly those on sea, to success.
I solicit your full participation so that the ultimate goal of reducing GHG emissions from international shipping for a better environment will be achieved.
The Deputy Minister for Transport, Daniel Titus Glover, expressed faith in the capacity of the training program to build capacity for stakeholders in the maritime industry in effective ways to curb this problem.
I am hopeful that this workshop will make clearer the harmful effects of gas emission from ship source activities and create the necessary awareness required to promote stakeholders in the maritime industry.
He urged the participants to produce workable reports out of the workshop.
Seabed Survey, an ocean exploration company, Ocean Infinity, deployed its vessel on February 8th to begin the search for the lost South Korean ship Stella Daisy. The company said that the seabed constructor, which departed on its mission from Cape Town, is expected to be on site and commencing search operations by mid-February 2019. The ill-fated Stella Daisy sank on March 31, 2017, with the tragic loss of 22 of its 24 crew. The ship, which was transporting iron ore from Brazil to China and is believed to have gone down in the South Atlantic Ocean around 1800 nautical miles due west of Cape Town. The National Retail Federation and Harkett Associates reports that imports at the U.S. major retail container ports have dipped since peaks seen last fall, but remain at higher than usual levels as a possible increase in tariffs on goods from China approaches in March. U.S. tariffs of 10% on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods that took effect last September are scheduled to increase to 25% on March 1 unless negotiations that began in December are successful. U.S. ports covered by Global Port Tracker handled 1.97 million TEUs in December, the latest month for which after the fact numbers are available. The International Transport Workers Federation, ITF, claims that crew members aboard a ship at a BHP terminal in Queensland are being neglected and underpaid. The claim is based on a seafarer's email allegedly sent from aboard the 80,000-ton bulk carrier Villa d'Est to the ITF. As explained by the union, the worker pleaded for help, claiming the crew had no food and no onboard wages. They were reportedly being fed on a $4 food budget per day, despite having an $8 allowance. ITF said BHP is continuing to block the union's request to inspect the vessel, which is currently at anchor at the company's Hay Point coal terminal in Mackay, North Queensland.
Hello. Good morning. This is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less.
to get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how?
Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here in a simpler, faster, and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth is in our hands.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Now time for schedules of vessels like that Ro-Ro Glovis vessel sitting there. Those are the anchorage, those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate that you need to clear your goods out of the port on your screens. And that should be it for this week's episode of Eye on Port. We thank you for watching. We'll be back same time next week. And I have to say a lot of thanks to the entire crew, particularly my main man, Robert Nyantichi, Godwin Kabute, Solomon Anderson, Joe Lavo, Joe Bone, Martin Minta, and the executive producers of the program, Abena Sewa Opokufosu and Esther Jebidonko.